covered in blood, your torso soaked in blood. Your mom's like, oh, what happened? You're like, Mom, I lacerated my liver again, and she's like, oh, I'll get the yak milk, and, takes care of you. Hello, Internet, and welcome to my new Rimworld series. I'm super excited to be playing Rimworld again, and I hope that you enjoy the series as we get into things here. So in a previous video, I should have covered the mods that we're using, and other than that, I don't have a lot to say. We're about to jump into things. I have not even looked at the map yet. We have not... Oh, loaded in. Okay, so I do have a mod. It's called Geographical Landforms, which adds, geographical features to the game that are, unusual. Oh my god. Okay, so I was gonna say, this one does... The map we picked has a cliff, which I assumed would be, not this. I did not think it would be literally like half of the map being rock. So that's actually hugely problematic. It also says northern cliff, so of course it makes sense we have a cliff up here. Don't know why we have a huge cliff down here. Like, we have very little usable land compared to most maps. So what I think we'll probably end up doing is building into the mountain, which I didn't want to do in this playthrough because people always complain when I build into mountains. But yeah, I don't know how else we're gonna use all this space. So okay. Anyway, let's not focus on that. So we're going to jump into the game. I've not looked at anything yet other than our characters here. Which, for the record, let's talk about our characters, I suppose. This video, by the way, I'm sure that you're used to watching other people play Rimworld. People who love Rimworld watch a lot of Rimworld. I'm not very good, and in fact, I have not played in a long time. So bear with me as I figure things out here, because it might be a little slow to start off with, especially the first episode, right? We're gonna have to figure out how to build again and do all that stuff. So let's zoom out, make sure we've unmarked all of these survival meals, which we did. Same with the steel. Okay, so let's unforbid all of that. Are you unforbidden? Okay. Oh, and components. Oh, of course. Don't we don't want to leave our components outside. Anyway, let's have a look at our colonists here. They're not amazing. I debated if I should make them all like super tailored, because I haven't played in a long time. I debated, should I make them super powerful? That way I'm guaranteed to actually get a game going, but I decided not to do that. So they're very mediocre. So first up, we have Nora French. Apparently she's 15. I didn't even notice that. I think if you're 15, you don't get a backstory, right? How do we see amateur botanist? Yeah, so an adult would have 2, so she has lower skills than your average person because she's only 15. Okay, I mean, that's fine. So her main abilities, she has a double passion in animals and in mining, which probably is going to come in handy given our map. We're probably going to need to do a lot of mining. And of course, she's our plant person. Everybody needs a good plant person. Next up, we've got Sardines Varpins. I have no idea how to say any of that. Looks like he's pretty good at shooting. I mean, 6 is not good, but it's something. He has the double passion. He's going to be our constructor and our cook, which is unfortunate because once you get a certain number of colonists in your colony, you really need one person to be completely devoted to cooking at all times. So at that point, he's going to probably stop doing construction. Also decent at art, so that's maybe something in the future. And then we've got Sienna Camacho, who was an addiction counselor. That's interesting. Sickly child. So she became addicted maybe when she was sick, and then counseled people on addiction. Recovering from a joy wire addiction. I don't know what that means. Anyway, she's going to be our doctor, and probably our researcher. Anyone else good at research? No, everyone's terrible. 5 in research is pretty bad, but that does level up relatively quickly over time. Other than that, she can craft. She also can mine, I guess. How about you? Yeah, you're all pretty decent at mining, so that's pretty handy, actually, given the map that we've landed on. Yeah, so those are our colonists. Not super impressive. What in God's name are you? What is this? Exotic pet. Oh, yak. Hello. Yaks are just cows, right? Like, what is, how do I, oh, Rimpedia, that's right. I have a mod called Rimpedia, if you've never seen this. It works with a lot of mods and provides information on different things. And the idea here, okay, so it's a female yak? Female yak, okay. Oh, milk, okay, so they do give milk. I was gonna say, it doesn't say, normally there's a little thing, it'll say milk and wool here. But the way this works is that the more we interact with an animal, the more information we will unlock about that animal. So we obviously have not done that yet. But it's good. It looks like it gives milk. So that's something. At least we'll get some milk out of our yak, which is great because yak milk is a superfood. You know, I remember being a kid. Why don't we look for a place? Because obviously with this restriction of geography, we want to build up north, right? Because even if we don't go into the mountain, we can just wall off and have defensive positions here and build our colony in here. I really wanted to avoid just digging into the mountain and making a mountain base because people seem to hate that, but that's probably what we're going to do. And obviously that makes defense way easier, right? No one's going to come in from this side of the map. And in fact, it's so restricted, there's only a few places they can even spawn on the edges of the map. This is not a great roll. I'm not really happy with this, but of course I'm not going to go back and re-roll it now. And we do want to settle up north. Plus we have these 2 geothermal vents. That's definitely something we're going to want in the future. There's a 3rd one here as well, so if we had to expand, we could do that. And then I don't know what this is. A Helixian gas geyser. I have no idea. Isn't Helixian Markiplier's editor? That's Elixian. So I have no idea what mod that's from. Maybe that'll be handy in the future, but for now I'm focused on these. So let's build our base up here. For now we're not going to dig into the mountain, it would take too long, so we're just going to work some structures and let's set up some zones. Let's set up some zones real quick. And yeah, like I said, this episode's probably going to be a lot of setup, which may not be very entertaining because it's just setting things up, but you know, we'll figure things out. I don't want to build too close to the geyser there, so we'll just make a dumping zone there and a stockpile zone there, and I'm not sure I want to turn them loose and just let them do whatever they want. So what I'm going to do is set up a structure as well very quickly. We're just going to do this out of wood. Remember, we do spawn with wood. I have no idea how much. So for the time being, this will probably be a small... You know, I always build a small building first. Why don't I build a big building? That way, we could just put in rooms inside. Now, why would we do that? So we're just going to build a small room for the time being. Always build in odd numbers. If Minecraft taught me anything, it's that you build in odd numbers. That way you can have a centrally located door without it looking hideous. So we'll just do this for the time being. That'll be their barracks for tonight. I doubt we're going to be able to get beds up in that amount of time. So let's just throw down some sleeping spots so they have a place to sleep. I think the yak is too big. Yeah, so the yak is going to require us to build a pen for our animals, so we can't just make a sleeping spot in here. I think if we make an animal sleeping spot outside, it may come over here and sleep in it, but more likely it's going to meander around. So we're going to need to build a pen for our yak in the future, named Caraway. No, you know, we're going to rename our pet. How do I do this? I want to, Animals tab, rename maybe? Control-click to rename. What do you name a yak? Oh, it has to be a pun, right? Everybody hates pun names. Yakety Sax. No, that's too old of a reference. I doubt young people would understand. Yakety Yak, Yakety Sax. Oh, Yaki Chan, of course. Yaki Chan. Okay, that was easy. So we got a yak named Yaki Chan. Yeah, yak milk, man, it's a superfood. I remember, like, when you're a kid, you know, you get sick, you come down with pneumonia or something, and your mom's like, you know, comes down to your room, checks you out, says, hey, how are you doing? You say, Mom, oh, feel good, Mom. Feeling a little sick. And she produces just a jar of yak milk, and it's like, you know, drink this yak milk, you're going to feel better. And she was right every time, you know, drink a little yak milk. Why don't we equip you? Who's our other shooter? Neither of you are very good. We'll give French the revolver, and we'll give Sienna... There should be a knife around here somewhere. A knife for the time being. We'll get that sorted later. And then we'll turn them loose. I have to set priorities, which you probably don't want to watch me do, so I will do this off camera real quick. Alright, I've laid out their priorities. We will tweak this as we go in the future, but for now I think this is adequate. You know, just getting in. I don't know the colonists super well, so we'll have to figure things out kind of as we go. I don't know what to do with the work schedule either. Usually what I do is this, and then I will throw in some mandatory recreation kind of in on either end of the working. So we'll turn them loose and we'll see how it goes. Oh, yak milk. Yeah, kids are always sick, and yak milk, it's just one of those things in a mother's toolbox for taking care of her children. Why are you hauling the wood up there? Just take it to the structure that needs built. Why take it to the work zone first? Sardines, are you going to build? You are. We have some good heal root here as well. Heal root as well. Just another tool in the mother's toolbox. Taking care of her kids, yak milk. What are you going to do? I would love you guys to grab these components. Yeah, like kids are always getting sick and stuff. You remember falling down a lot as a kid. Kids are clumsy. What are you going to do? I never broke a bone. Everybody always asks, hey, you ever broke a bone? I've had 2 sets of stitches as a child, though. Never as an adult. I was little when I was getting banged. Kids get banged up. It's like 90% of what kids do. They fall down, then they get back up. They laugh about it, and their arms flop, and they're broken. I don't know why it's always kids and old people, people around my age, 20s, 30s. We don't get broken limbs like kids do. Probably just we're not active, right? Like probably just because we're on the computer all day, and it's not exactly a high intensity thing to do. Sardines, yeah, do that, please. French is vomiting. Why are you vomiting? Crypto sleep sickness. Consciousness times 80. Okay, so she's going to puke a lot, which is not great because I believe that means she'll be eating more food. So, hey, when you're done puking your guts out, please haul this wood for me so that French can get started on our building here. We have wood, not as much as I thought we did. So we may specify, I think we have enough for this little building, but we will also mark some trees for cutting. Which French is our cutting person, so she'll focus on that above the hauling, even though I told her to haul some lumber. Yeah, I don't know. Your kids, man, I have a niece. I have a niece and a nephew now, and they're always getting hurt. My niece had, I believe, broken her arm a while back. She was in a sling for a while. Once she got, I think she had a cast, and then she had the sling put on. Which is, if she had a yak, she would have been fine. Just smear a little yak milk on a broken limb, and you'll be recovered before you know it. Like, you remember, so I had stitches as a kid. And you remember being a kid, you get dinged up. It is what it is. One day you're in the kitchen, your mom says, here, take this trash bag out. You don't know it, but there's some glass in a trash bag. So you run downstairs carrying a bag of trash, and you come back in covered in blood, your torso soaked in blood. Your mom's like, oh, what happened? You're like, Mom, I lacerated my liver again. And she's like, oh, I'll get the yak milk. And, takes care of you. Why do I feel so unconfident today, internet? Because I feel like as I'm thinking like, oh, these are funny jokes about yak milk, but then they come out of my mouth and I'm like, this is the dumbest crap you've ever said out loud. All right, well, that's fine. So we did get a structure set up. I'm trying to, by the way, last time I did a Rimworld series did not go super well. People complained about a lot of things about how I played the game, and then when I ended the series, people left me horrendous comments about how, well, I'm not going to say, but I should do terrible things and end my own life. So, it was not a great experience for me. And then the other things, like a little stuff that people complained about, they complained that I was always on speed 3. So, like, I'm trying to just chill for a minute and, like, go on speed 1 from time to time. And then the other thing people complained about a lot is that I zoom in too much, which, yeah, I can't control that. I zoom in and out a lot and pan the camera around, which is a little choppy, by the way, frame rate wise sometimes. But yeah, I can't really help that. Probably not going to change that. Zooming in and out is probably not something we're going to get taken care of. Okay, so let's be quick about it, because normally too I take a lot of time to do very simple things. So we've laid out a basic room for them to sleep in overnight. So tonight they're going to get the debuff for sleeping on the ground. They're going to get the debuff. Probably it will be cold and they'll be mad about it. But they'll have the awful barrack debuff, but they won't be sleeping outside debuff. So that's at least something. So what would be the next priority? Getting our stockpile indoors, probably, right? So let's build a quick structure around this as well. And I think in the future we will build this into the mountain, because there's just so much rock on this map that it's probably in our best interest to just dig into this thing you know, because the more we use up outside space, I mean, we don't have to go into the mountain. We could just have these big restrictive, you know, cliff faces, or we could dig into the mountain because there's probably lots of minerals and machinery and iron and stuff, which, by the way, I'm not seeing any iron. I'm seeing some jade, which is like one of the least useful other resources. No gold, no iron, no compacted. Okay, here's some iron, no compacted machinery. So we're looking a little light on raw resources, so we might dig into the mountain. I do also have the quarry mod installed, which is, I think, miscellaneous mass grave. No, that's not it. It's production. Yeah, so a quarry, basically, there's areas you can put it, and when you plop it down, you can send people, they'll mine in the quarry here, and then they'll produce random resources like iron or stone blocks, things like that. So we'll probably do that in the future. For now, let's get our stockpile set up. This will probably not be refrigerated. In the future, we'll build like a different refrigerator. So, since we don't care about trapping the temperature, we can just slap some extra doors on it, which this is not odd numbers. Well, why would I put a door up there? And this door is not center, and people will be annoyed by that. So let's put this door in the center. I think is this 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that is why you build in odd numbers, so that this does not happen. So let's take care of that. So I'll throw down a couple walls here, and we go here. No. 1, 2. Sorry, internet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I can't do math. It is what it is. So we'll just slap down the wall here. Okay, so now it's symmetrical, and then we'll just dump a door here, so it doesn't really matter. And since French will just be hauling, otherwise we'll get Sardines to work on construction, and we'll send Sienna to haul these things. So is there anything else critical that we need to get inside? Everything looks like it's just steel that's left, so she can haul at her leisure. We don't necessarily need to get that indoors right now. So we'll designate some more tree cutting for Frenchie here, because we're going to need a lot of lumber for constructing over the next couple of days. And Sardines should, as soon as he's done hauling, turn his attention to construction. Now, this is a great time to point out one of the mods that I'm using, which, again, I probably talked about this in the video I made about talking about all the mods that were added, but shout outs to Spooky the Bee. They're a Twitch streamer who, basically, when I was talking about Rimworld, they recommended a whole huge number of quality of life mods, and I enabled quite a lot of them. I went down, they gave me a big list. I went down them, checked each one out individually, and decided, you know, whether I want them in the game or not. But one of the things that we added is the ability to haul a little bit better. So instead of just hauling one thing, they actually will pick up multiple things if they're able to. So if we watch Sardines here, he picked up 2.5 stacks. So it looks like he's carrying 75, but if we look at his inventory, oh, how do we do this? Why are you carrying 800 silver in your inventory? That's unacceptable. And only 41 steel. Okay, now I'm really confused because it says he's carrying a lot of steel. You know what? Let's not think about it. Let's just let it run its course. The point is hauling's a little bit better with a mod that I'm using, so that should be helpful. So maybe he just didn't unload his inventory. Yeah, so it's queued up to unload his inventory. So when he goes in here, he's probably going to drop a lot of silver, would be my guess. And we have enough wood, I think, to construct this building. So you're going to drop that silver? You are. Good, because I don't want you carrying like our entire colony's wealth in your inventory. And yeah, I also have a mod for smarter construction, so they tend to construct in a straight line, but then they also will skip tiles that have stuff going on. So like if there's a tree here, that's one of the last things that they'll do. Same with these chunks. In fact, we can mark these as hauling. Oh, I can't? Yes, I can. And the other benefit of the chunk stuff is I do have stackable chunks. What that means is we don't end up with a huge stockpile of lots of chunks. They can actually be stacked on one another. And in fact, to continue talking about mods, you know, by the way, plug for yak milk. Definitely you should drink some yak milk. But anyway, to continue plugging mods, one of the mods I have is deep storage. And again, basically the way this went I was playing Rimworld in my free time, and I went on Discord and I posted a picture of my base, and I thought, oh, you know, I'm going to get great feedback from people and it's going to be fun and a shared experience. And what happened was everyone yelled at me and told me that I was terrible at making bases. And the reason why is because I was using vanilla storage. So all of my storage zones looked like this. They just had random crap on the ground. And what everyone said was, hey man, if you're going to play a game, especially if you're going to play it on YouTube where people will leave you lots of comments, you should really use the deep storage mod. It allows you to build shelves and stuff that can hold a lot of items. So for instance, we have all this steel here, 895 steel, and you'll see it's broken down into like, I don't know, 11 or 12 little individual stacks. Well, what I could do is instead of having 11 stacks all over my floor, I could build a tall shelf, for instance, and it might be able to store 10 of those stacks in that one shelf. So instead of taking up all those tiles, it only takes up 2 tiles. It looks a lot nicer, etc., etc. Now, to me, when I heard this, I thought, well, that seems like cheating because you can store like 10 times the amount of stuff you would normally store in a small room. But everyone said, you know, that's kind of something everyone does. Plus, when you build them, it actually raises, if we look in the upper left here, it actually raises the wealth of your colony slightly. So it's more, you're more likely to get worse raids and things like that, more harsher penalties if you have a lot of these items. So it's not like there's no trade-off, but to me, it just feels a little cheaty because it's so beneficial, but we'll probably use them in the series because I think they're right. It is ugly. So our yak did come use that sleeping spot. That's nice. Everyone's going to sleep inside. Our first night is done. They're probably not going to be happy. Recreation unfulfilled. Yep, I forgot to build you a horseshoe pit. Which, yeah, who doesn't like horseshoes? What the heck is this? 5-finger fillet table. Need warm clothes. Yeah, we'll get to that eventually. Wooden table for playing 5-finger fillet. Might lose a finger or two. Yeah, probably not going to do that. Let's just plop down a horseshoe pin, shall we? That'll give them something to do recreation-wise. What else you got going on? Ugly environment. Yeah, you're sleeping in an indoor patch of dirt. Why wouldn't it be ugly? Awful barrack, recreation unfilled, slept on the ground, slept in the cold, chilly. Oh, come on, that's not fair. If they're sleeping in the cold, why do I need 2 debuffs? 8 without a table. Yeah. Okay, so let's see how many of those things can we address today. If I put a campfire in here, I think they'll be too hot immediately because it's sleeping next to a fire. We took care of recreation unfulfilled. They don't like the barracks. I don't know if I have enough time to build out 3 rooms tomorrow. We can take care of sleeping on the ground. We can 100% get some beds built. And 8 without a table. We can take care of that as well. So while they're sleeping, let's turn time on so that they can pass some time. Let's build a dining area. Okay, so if we're going to go into the mountain, we will build this eventually inside the mountain. But if we're not going to go into the mountain, probably here is centrally located enough in terms of, well, but if we want to build rooms, we can build them up here, like our bedrooms and stuff. So we'll just make a little dining room. Why make it little? If we're going to go, we know that in the future we're going to want like to build up our dining room into a beautiful room. So why not make it pretty sizable? And again, we can just put doors on all 4 sides. Doesn't really matter. We'll throw down some, let's not focus on flooring right now. Let's just put down the stuff that they want. So let's build, it would be furniture. Let's build a large table. Okay, that's maybe a little too honkin' big. Let's go 2 by 2. Oh, but then it won't be center. Well, we don't need it to be center. So my thing with the 3 by 3 is that this is then not enough room to put a lot of art in that room eventually. You know what? Doesn't matter. We can refactor all of that in at another time if that's something we want to do. For now, we'll just do 4 chairs because supplies are somewhat limited. And that'll be a place for them to sleep. And we'll put a torch in here so they can see. Same in here. In case they're going to be inside at some point, they're going to want to not be in the dark. So we'll throw a torch in there as well. We don't need to start on meals right away. Oh, we should lay out a growing zone, however. Although first we want them to harvest wood. We don't want to jump right to growing because then they'll stop cutting wood and prioritize growing instead. We're going to need a fair bit of wood for construction. Sardines, when you get up, I would love How tired are you? You're mostly healed. Get up and build this horseshoe pit because recreation's coming up and it will give you all a chance to get your recreation filled, which will be great. Looks like they're going to work immediately. Sardines, what are you doing? Oh, you're cutting down trees? Yeah, you're bad at cutting down trees. That's going to take forever. Sienna, or I'm sorry, French, you're our cutter. Stop what you're doing. Come cut down these trees. How do we be to cut wood? So French, come cut these down. You'll cut down both of these way before Sardines even finishes his first one. So we'll take care of that so he doesn't have to do that. Man, you're bad at this, huh? Oh, are there two here? Yeah, French, I hate to do this to you. I need you to cut down this tree as well. Because this is just going to take way too long and it's going to like monopolize his time all day. So he'll get that roofed in. I didn't realize he didn't do that yesterday. And he'll turn his attention to building a dining room. French will cut down all these trees, and I think now we can start laying out some growing zones. So we're at 28 minutes. So in the future, I am going to keep these videos a little shorter, probably close to 20 to 25 minutes. But today, because it's the first episode and we have a lot of stuff we need to get off the ground, we're just going to pay a little bit more attention, take a little bit longer than we normally would. We're looking for fertility. We do have a batch of really highly fertile land. And it's pretty close, so we'll go ahead and lay out a grow zone here, which I was going to make them modular, but 7x7 should be fine. And there's that one geyser over there. Oh, you know what? We can't grow heel root, but I don't think she's skilled enough for heel root. I think you need 8. Yeah, we're not there yet. Okay, so let's turn off that overlay. So we laid out 2 growing zones, and I guess we'll just make, I mean, obviously we want to make one rice, right? Because rice is like the fastest growing. Actually, because of the mod, I think radishes are the fastest growing plant. Takes 1.55 days. Oh, but it requires a skill of 6, which we don't have. Yeah, so rice it is. We'll make both of these rice, I suppose. And that'll do. And she'll turn her attention to that after she cuts down this tree, I think. But we should have enough wood for our dining area. I would really like to get them out of a barracks and into individual bedrooms, but I think that that would be a pretty large expenditure of materials. Oh, building this chair is taking you a really long time. Why is that? Because your construction is only 6, probably. I mean, that's okay. You know, didn't expect it to take so long. I thought you would finish this today, but that's fine. We have a mad hedgehog. We'll go mad and attack everyone it sees. Come on, bro. Okay, well, it looks like we're gonna kill our first animal. Honestly, I don't know that I even wanna just beeline in towards us, huh? Yeah, okay, French, you know what? You're fine. You're fine. Sardines, how close are you to construction? Okay, I hate to do this. You gotta stop and shoot the hedgehog. Sienna, if you could come over here and maybe shank this thing if it gets too close. It's a hedgehog, you know, despite being, you know, what Sonic is based on, doesn't appear to be very fast. You gotta go fast, hedgehog. Oh, it's dead. Never mind then. For the time being, we will haul that to the dumping stockpile zone. I guess we should set up a butcher's rack. I don't think there's any you know what, there is. I was gonna say there's no purpose to a butcher's table at the moment, but that's not true, because we can get fur from it. So even though we're not equipped to deal with the meat, we haven't set anything up for cooking or anything like that, we do know that we could always harvest it for leather, which is something we're going to want eventually. So Sardines, yeah, man, you took a little longer to build this than I expected you to. Really wanted you to finish this today, so that tomorrow we could turn our attention to building actual bedrooms, but I guess that's not gonna happen. Why are you... Oh, you're relaxing socially. I was gonna say, why didn't you take a break for recreation? But you did. Get these chunks hauled out of here. Yeah, so that was way slower than I thought. Is anyone else good at construction? Kind of. French is. She's gonna be focused on growing, though, and cutting down trees. So probably we're not gonna get her to construct. Alright, I mean... not as much progress as I wanted in our first episode, I suppose, but it's something. And I suppose we could start building racks immediately, but this is temporary. These are all temporary, right? We're just getting started. We'll figure things out in the future. we'll do a better job, you know, as we progress and lay out things a little bit better. So yeah, not a lot of progress. Not super thrilled with how much we got done. I guess I did talk a little too much about yak milk, but why wouldn't you? Yak milk is so delicious. Did we interact with the animal? We did, so we got a little bit more information. Robust cattle with a bulky frame, short but thick legs, rounded cloven hooves that are splayed to help them walk in the snow. Okay, I mean, probably not a lot of snow here, but it is what it is. So sardines will finish our dining room today. It should have, regardless, removed their debuff for eating without a table, because they could just come over here and eat. Crafted a low quality item. Did you make a bad chair? You made a good chair. Good chair. What did you make that was a bad quality item? Maybe he failed to craft. Maybe that's why. Okay. You botched your construction. Yeah, because you're a failure. It's fine. And once we set this up, we will set to butcher this animal immediately. We'll do this forever. And we'll check corpses and everything as we need to, but it should be fine for now. Looks like he's going to butcher. How much leather did we get from a hedgehog? 13. Really not very much, but it is just a hedgehog. I'm going to continue harvesting heel root when I see it, because we're not going to be able to grow any for a while because of her skill level. So we kind of need to build up some herbal medicine, I think. Anyway, internet, I think that's an acceptable place to stop. Not super thrilled with it. Obviously, our colony is in our infancy. You know, it's going to take us some time to get things together and really get moving. But anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.